Today we're going to talk about what goes into building a fully equipped Navy SUP. We're talking communications, radar eyes, EPIRB, all that fun stuff. So stick around and let's dive right in. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Boating Basics. And today we are going to be talking about what goes into building a fully equipped Navy SUP. I know not everyone needs this, but for those of you who do, it's important to understand what is actually going into your boat when you have these things installed. So, like I mentioned in previous episodes, I work at a boat dealership here in Michigan as a rigging and service technician. We deal with all kinds of boats, from big commercial vessels to small little aluminum john boats. But the most exciting to me personally are the SUPs, the boats that we install these things on. So we have a 23-foot Seahund Ultra. If you've never seen this boat before, it is absolutely incredible. It's got a ton of features packed into it. But what makes this boat special is the fact that it is fully equipped with the latest technology that the Navy uses on there, seals and swicks. So it's got a lot of cool stuff. First off, in the bow of the boat you can see our anchor locker right here. There's an electric motor in there, which is our anchor windlass. This is our control panel for it. And why they use electric motors instead of manual on the Navy is because if you ever had to recover an anchor in a heavy sea state manually, it can be very difficult. You need a lot of manpower. So with an electric windlass, it makes it much easier to pull up that anchor, even in rougher conditions. Now this particular one is made by a company called Quick, but the Navy uses a Maxwell RC8, which is basically the same thing, just obviously labeled differently. Next, moving towards the console, you can see our VHF radio. This is our DSC-capable VHF radio. And then over here, you can see our eyes unit. These two pieces of equipment go hand in hand together. So our eyes is our automatic identification system. The eyes will broadcast information about our vessel, such as the vessel's identity, its position, its speed, and course over ground, as well as its destination and its draft. Now the reason the Navy requires these two systems to be integrated is because if you are out on a mission, you can broadcast a distress alert directly from your VHF radio to all nearby vessels within range, alerting them that you're in trouble and you may need assistance. The nice thing about it is that this can also be done through the eyes system as well. So if for some reason your VHF was to go down, you could still broadcast a distress alert. Both of these systems are monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by the Coast Guard. And if for some reason they do get a response from the vessel that is broadcasting a distress call, they can send someone out to investigate. Next up, moving to the left side of the helm, you can see our GPS unit right here. This is a Garmin GPS 7610 XSV. And what makes this special is that it has the ability to interface with our autopilot, allowing us to set routes and waypoints that will take us directly to where we need to go. Moving over here, you can see our autopilot control. So the autopilot is hooked up to our rudder, and it allows us to steer the vessel automatically. As you can see, there is a bunch of pre-programmed routes in here that allow us to basically set it and forget it. Once the route is started, the autopilot will keep the vessel on course, and it won't deviate. It also has the ability to interface with our GPS, allowing us to input waypoints and also use that route function. So basically, once a route is set, it will automatically steer us along that route, and it alert us if we deviate from the course. This allows us to focus on other aspects of the mission without having to worry about keeping the vessel on course. Over here, you can see our magnetic compass, which is calibrated with the autopilot. Next, moving over here, you can see our radar arch with a 24-mile radar. Now the radar is used for obvious reasons. It allows us to see in the dark, through rain, fog, whatever. It basically allows us to see much farther than we normally could. With this particular radar, we can see everything from 2 to 24 miles away. Now there are different modes that we can put it in. So, for example, if we're looking for birds or we're looking for land, we can change the settings on the radar to make it more sensitive to those things. Another feature that comes with this radar is the rain mode. So if it starts raining really heavily, we can turn on the rain mode, and it will actually differentiate between the rain and any objects that may be in the vicinity, so that we do run into anything. The radar also interfaces with our GPS, allowing us to plot waypoints and routes right on the radar screen. So when we're out on the water, we can see exactly where we need to go. Another neat feature that this radar has is the ability to overlay the chart with the radar image. So as you can see here, we can turn it on and off, which allows us to see both the radar image and the chart at the same time. This allows us to orient ourselves on the chart and then look at the radar to see what's in the area. This is especially useful when navigating in unfamiliar waters, because we can use the radar to help us orient ourselves with the chart. Moving down to the lower helm, you can see our APIRB. An APIRB is an electronic position fixing and ranging device. It basically gives us our latitude and longitude coordinates, as well as our speed and heading. The Navy uses the EPIR because it's more accurate than a GPS. So, if for some reason the GPS goes down, we can still navigate using the EPARB also interfaces with our autopilot, allowing us to steer to a specific waypoint or course line. Moving to the right side of the lower helm, you can see our depth sounder. This is our 1 kW transducer right here, and then our display for it is right here. What's nice about this setup is that it has a 1 kW transducer, which is much more powerful than a standard 500-watt transducer. This allows us to get a much clearer picture of what's on the bottom. So, if we're looking for fish, we're much more likely to find them with this setup. The depth sounder also interfaces with our GPS, allowing us to overlay the depth contours on top of the chart. This allows us to easily see the depth of the water around us, as well as any bottom structure such as wrecks or reefs. Next, moving over here, you can see our trim tabs right here. So these are our indicators, and then the actual trim tabs are down here. So with the trim tabs, it allows us to adjust the vessel's pitch and roll. This is especially useful when we're rerunning in a following sea, because it allows us to keep the bow of the boat higher in the air. This reduces the amount of spray that's hitting the passengers, as well as the equipment on the boat. Next, moving to the back of the boat, you can see our ladder. This is a must-have for any Navy vessel. It allows for easy access to the bow of the boat, which is important for various reasons. For example, if someone falls in the water, we can easily retrieve them from the bow of the boat. Additionally, it allows us to access the anchor locker and other equipment in the bow of the boat. Moving further aft, you can see our fuel tanks. So these are our aluminum tanks, right here. These are the standard tanks that the Navy uses, and they're located here to keep the vessel's center of gravity low. And this is very important for high-performance vessels such as this one. Moving further, aft still, you can see our outboards right here. These are Yamaha F300s. They're the best in the business, and they're mounted on the transom of the boat to reduce noise and vibration in the cockpit. Finally, we'll move to the very back of the boat and take a look at our swim platform. This is a must-have for any Navy vessel. It allows for easy access to the water, which is important for various reasons. For example, if someone falls in the water, we can easily pull them out from the swim platform. Additionally, it allows us to board the vessel from the water, which is especially useful when operating in shallow water or near shore. Alright guys, that's it for this episode of Boating Basics. I hope you learned something about what goes into building a fully equipped Navy SUP. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them for you. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.